Okay. Huh?
Why did you take your drum set apart halfway?
I needed one of the stands for something else earlier. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys my attempt at trying to put a new head on the tambourine. So I took the old head off and I taped up the jingles so it wasn't so loud when I was sanding. But what you have to do is you take a screwdriver and just pry off the tacks, and then once you get the tacks off, then you can use a razor blade or an X-Acto knife to peel off the glued skin from the shell. And then once you do that, it's got a whole bunch of like glue residue that you just have to take. I just took a sheet of sandpaper and sanded it all off. So now it's just the wood along the bearing edge. And you're not going to end up really gluing up here much, because the glue is going to be on the side of the shell, so that's where you sand the most. Okay, so I did that. That's all done. Meanwhile, I had this replacement head soaking in water. It was a couple inches of water, and I just kind of poured it out. It's been 3 hours. It's supposed to be at least 2 hours. Okay. So once I dry this off, then we'll try to put the new head on. Okay. All right. So now I'm on the next step. I just put glue all around the edge. Hopefully I didn't wait too long. It's not drying too much yet. I had to spread it around with my finger, so I have that so far. And I took this head and dried off some of the excess water. All right. So I have my head. Yeah, tambourine here. Let's see. Okay. So now that I have that on, now I take this rubber band and stretch it around, and hopefully I can actually do this. I wonder if I'm going to need an extra person. Okay.
Oh, I need to.
Hold on. Okay, so now I have this on here, and I gotta fix up the rubber band a little bit. Alright, so now I can keep working around this tambourine to make sure that there's no big creases anywhere. You guys can see it's getting there, so right here. Okay, so I finally got the rubber band to stay on here, and I think it's glued pretty good, and I pulled out all of the slack. So now it's not really tight, but the glue has to dry in order for it to be tight. And then I just sit this in, doesn't really matter, on a table or something, where something that's in a place that's semi-humid and not too dry or hot, because you don't want this to, it's wet right now. It has to dry up so it can tighten, but it has to dry up slowly. Otherwise, if it dries too quick and tightens up, then the glue won't have dried enough. So usually what people will do is they'll sit it on a table, and then they'll put a wet towel over top of it so it keeps the moisture on the head as it slowly dries, like overnight or something. Okay, so then we'll check in on it later. Okay, so left it overnight with the damp towel on it, and the next morning it was pretty much dry, although I let it sit a whole nother day to dry just to make sure the glue was set really well under the rubber band. So looks like this, and now we can take the rubber band off. Okay, so now you can see where it has been glued, that dark part. The head is pretty tight on there, hopefully you can hear on there. And then the next step is to get an X-Acto knife or one of these guys, box cutter or something, some kind of razor blade, and to cut all of the excess skin off of the head. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll see what it looks like and sounds like. Okay, and there it is. It's not perfect, because I wasn't perfect with the glue placement when I was putting the head on, and next time I'll probably have a better idea of making sure that I have help putting the rubber band on would help. Having 4 hands instead of 2. But that's it. Nice and tight. It's a humid day, so I'll see what it sounds like when it's really dry. Hopefully it's not too tight. All right, tambourine done.